Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this New Year's Eve look. Heyo. Are we done with heyo? Like, is that dead to us now? I don't know. Today, I wanted to have some fun with makeup and do this little New Year's Eve look and also talk about some of my New Year's resolutions for this year. But I also want to give a huge thank you to Built Bar for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna take it out of the wrapper because it's a little crinkly for my mic that's right here. But let me tell you a little bit, okay? I've been eating these nonstop. This one is the double chocolate. I feel like slowly I'm getting through the whole catalog of Built Bar. And I'm finding like new fun ways to eat each flavor. Like the salted caramel one, I'm really loving in my yogurt lately. Cookies and cream, sometimes I'll put in like Rice Krispies, you know what I mean? But I also love them just straight at the gym. I love the macros in Built Bar. They're so in line with my goals, high protein, low fat in there. A lot of the other protein bars that I used to eat, okay, I'm not shading anyone, but here's the thing. Built Bar is the one that matches my macros for my goals to a T, and I just love that. If I'm gonna be eating fat, I wanna have a hot Cheeto, okay? I know I've said it before, but hot Cheetos are like, oh gosh, they're my kryptonite. That's where I want to be eating it, not in like a protein bar, you know what I mean? Built Bar has 18 flavors, 6 of which are new. They improved the texture of the Built Bar, love it. And they have an even better taste. And like I said, every flavor that I've tried, I've loved. I haven't tried every flavor yet, but believe me, I'm on the road to trying every single Built Bar. And at this point, I don't know that I'll stop. So if you guys want to try Built Bar, you can go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code AlyssaAnderson10 for 10% off your purchase. That's BuiltBar.com. AlyssaAnderson10 for 10% off your purchase. I'm going to finish this Built Bar, and you can enjoy my Get Ready with me and learn all about my New Year's resolutions. All right, I have my most New Year's Eve-like shirt on, and I really mean that, and only because it has a somewhat deep V, okay? I mostly live in sweatpants and sweatshirts at this point. It's just how it is. I also have brought a champagne flute, stemless champagne flute for some bubbly, and when I say bubbly, I mean bubbly. So, oh, let's crack a cold one. Still got it. It is New Year's Eve, and I thought that it would be fun to do a little New Year's Eve makeup look and talk about some New Year's resolutions. I have been doing New Year's resolutions for like 4 or 5 years now. The first time I actually ever sat down and did real New Year's Eve resolutions or like New Year's resolutions, I stuck to them. My main one was to stop interrupting people when they were talking, and truly, it really changed my relationship with people. I don't know why I did that. Like, I would always think that, little hair flip, I would always think for some reason that like what I had to say was like so important, it had to be said right then, and not in a way that like I actually thought I was more important, but like it was just this subconscious thing that I was like, oh, I have to say this now. And it was so annoying. And so I was like, this year I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna let people finish what they're saying, wait for my turn like a normal person, and then continue with the conversation. It sounds like something I shouldn't have even had to do, but truly as like a 19-year-old, so I guess it's been a long time that I've been doing New Year's resolutions because 19 was 9 years ago and I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, 19-year-old me was a little different, okay? Anyway, really stuck to it. I feel like I'm a way better conversationalist, way better friend for it. And ever since then, I've been doing New Year's resolutions. So I wanted to tell you guys what my New Year's resolutions are gonna be. You can tell me in the comments if you feel like it, and we're just gonna do our makeup at the same time, a little New Year's Eve look. I did curl my hair for this special occasion. Hopefully it lasts throughout this video, okay? As you can also see, my acne has been getting quite a bit better. Can't believe it. It's not great by any means, but my gosh, it's turned a corner for sure in the right direction. I think I'm actually gonna zoom you in a little bit more. This New Year's Eve, BC is in a sort of lockdown. Everything's canceled. We got the Omicron variant rampant, okay? So we probably would have stayed in anyway. But this year for New Year's Eve, We are playing board games, but I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna try to look fly, and I wanna do a test run for the makeup, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna start with the, oh my good God, I'm so sorry, Sam. Let me put this cap back on. I just traveled for the holidays to my hometown, not like traveled, but I went home for the holidays. This came with me, so it's looking a little rough. I'm gonna use Glow Lust in Morganite as my base. It gives me this like really glowy finished look if I use it as a primer. So that's what I'm gonna do, just 2 little pumps on my fingies, and I'm just gonna put that all over my face. Oh yeah. I love this as a primer, I really do. Can't stop, won't stop. My first New Year's resolution is to stop being so negative. If you've watched me for any amount of time, you're probably thinking, excuse you? Because truly, it is a part of myself that I really care for. That I'm usually a very positive person. I feel like it's what people use to describe me, that I'm like a ray of light or like sunshiny. Like those are the kind of descriptors, and I really love that. Like what a beautiful thing to be said about someone, right? And I was even talking to my best friend Sam about it yesterday, and she was like, I don't feel like you're negative even now. And I'm like, here's the thing. I've been noticing more recently that I'm saying things just to be negative, okay? And I'll explain that in a second. I'm gonna go in and mix these 2 shades of Peach Perfect by Too Faced. I'm gonna use Warm Nude mixed with Marshmallow because I don't have a shade that actually matches my skin tone right now. So we're just gonna mix these 2. So what I mean by that is I feel like most things that I'm adding to the conversation these days are negative. Let me give you an example. Last night, Sam and I enjoyed some ramen. And every time I thought to open my mouth, I was gonna be like, oh, my soup's hot. Oh, my soup's too salty. Do you know what I mean? Like these kind of things. And I've just never been this way. And it was something that my partner actually brought up to me as well, is that like I've been a little bit more negative recently. And I got really defensive about it at first because I was like, I'm not negative. I'm not like this. But then I had to not internalize that, but I had to be a little bit introspective about that and be like, well, why is the person that I spend the most amount of time with saying this to me? Obviously there was a reason. And I came to realize that I kind of have been a little bit, you know? I don't like that. Not a fan. And quite frankly, I'm getting annoyed by it. I'm getting annoyed with myself coming up with things to say, reasons that things are gonna go wrong when I've just never been that person before. And I will give myself grace because that's something that I practice within myself as well, is giving myself the understanding that I would give to others. And I will say, we've been in a pandemic for 2 years, you know? I went through quite a bit this summer. I got shingles. I had a lot going on this summer. Then my back got bad again. I had to go through that whole situation. If you watched my chronic pain video, that was very hard for me. So I'm not saying that I'm a bad person or I don't deserve to have off days. Definitely not. I don't put pressure on myself to make sure that I'm this toxic positivity style person, but I don't like where it's headed, if that makes sense. I will also say, I am one of those people that can truly fake it until I make it. I feel like that is very rare and sometimes can be quite detrimental, just kind of faking it till you make it. For some reason, for me, it works. If I'm in a really poor mood and I just pretend that I'm having a good day, it actually works for me. I put way too much foundation on my hand. I have to wipe it off. Please hold. I do this every time. I do my foundation and then I realize I still have to do my eyeshadow, and I don't know that I'm ever gonna stop. I'm just gonna put some of this Rare Beauty eye primer on my lids, and then I'm gonna go in afterwards with a glitter glue primer as well, because we're gonna be using some glitter today. But I'm just gonna put this one all over my lid sort of situation. I really like this primer. So anyway, I really am someone who can fake it until I make it. It's almost like I can either choose to wake up and think poorly about all of the things I have to do in the day that I didn't really feel like doing, and then stub my toe and that's bad, and then the laundry didn't actually start and so now I'm upset about that, and then, you know, on and on it goes. Or I can wake up and think, okay, like this I have to get done, and then this I have to get done, and then I can spend a little bit of time with Sam and the baby, and then I can finish the laundry that I put in yesterday, and then everything's going to be great. It's really me picking my mindset that changes the way that my life goes. I completely recognize and understand that that's not the same for everyone. For some reason, that is just the way it is for me. I basically have to choose to be happy and positive, even when things might be not going 100% right, or I'm in pain or something like that. I've found it works for me to actually choose happiness. And for some reason, probably the reasons listed prior, I've kind of given way to that thought process. I've kind of fallen into the more, you know, negative talk, negative self-talk aspect of it, and I'm just over it. It's not fun. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for other people, and I'm just ready. So that's my first New Year's resolution, is to get back into the mindset of gratitude. And that's actually another good point that Sam brought up when I was having this conversation with her yesterday, because I've pretty much said always that it's really easy for me to find gratitude. It's not easy for everyone. A lot of people actually have to work at it, go through therapy to find it. I've always been so lucky that it comes to me very naturally, and now is the time where now I'm having to work towards it. And that's totally fine. I'm so happy to have it at the forefront that I need to focus on the gratitude and verbalize my gratitudes throughout the day. And so that's now what I'm focusing on, is mindset and remembering all of the things that I have to be grateful for, which are in abundance. Oh my goodness. I have such a beautiful family here in this home. I have my baby, who I call my baby. It's not my baby, but it is my baby. You know what I mean? I have Sam, who is my best friend, who I get to live with, which so many people do not get to do, and it works, which it doesn't work for so many people. I have a beautiful partner, my mom, my grandma, you know, Grunt, my sweet baby boy Grunt. I have all of these things to be so grateful for. You know, my health, even though there's certain things that don't go as great as they could, I do have my health overall. You know, the ability to use my body, you know, waxes and wanes, but right now we're in a positive trajectory. So just, again, coming back and focusing on all of the things that are going right instead of all of the things that could be perceived as going wrong. So that is number one. And now I'm just going to go in with this Tartiste palette by Tarte, and I'm going to mix the shades Force of Nature and Supermom together to form a base for my shadow. Oh, the eye primer is creasing already just after I said how much I loved it. How interesting. I wonder if it's because I really layered it on there. I don't want to forsake the good name of Selena Gomez, but truly I do love that primer, usually. I'm going to go in with a bigger brush. Honestly, I'm going to go in with this fat brush that I think is supposed to be a highlighting brush. But I don't know why I was using that dinky little brush. Probably because I was talking your guys' ear off. Whoop. There we go. Let's really get the job done. Perfect. Okay, so this whole look is kind of centered around this pigment right here. This is from Makeup Geek. I have no idea how old it is. It's called Asteroid Sparkler. And this is what we're trying to make work. This is going to be the star of the show. So I think that I'm just going to do a little like nude situation on the outsides, maybe a little bit darker, and then go in with the sparkler asteroid situation here. I'm really excited about this. I don't work with glitter a whole lot. I mean, I'm not a makeup artist in general, okay? If you're new here, this isn't some like Raw Beauty Kristi cut crease Samantha Ravndal situation, okay? I'm like an apprentice, a hobbyist, if you will. Makeup for the everyone, okay? There's no judgments here on this channel. I'm realizing how many Tarte products I have, truly, but I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Aspen Ovard palette. It's mostly just because all of my neutrals are like in different palettes, but if you have like one neutral palette, you're like set for this look, as if you're gonna wanna recreate this. I don't even know how it's gonna turn out, but I'm hopeful. I'm gonna go in with the shade Tea Time. It's like this cutie little, I don't know, brownie shade. And I'm gonna use a Smith 232 brush and kind of just do a little outer corner situation. I don't actually think that I'm going to make a V. I think I'm just gonna go in on the crease. Wait, I'm gonna do a V. I lied. I'm just pulling down here and then going up here. And I kind of have like not very much lid space. Honestly, kind of a little bit hooded. I'm gonna have to ask Sam if I do have hooded eyes. But I think I do. A little bit, look at that. That looks like a hood to me. I try to keep it just in the crease because I don't have a whole lot to work with. I think that's kind of nice. We're not aiming for perfection here today, folks. Okay, my second New Year's resolution is to learn Spanish. Good God. I have been saying for years, and my Spanish speaking subscribers, you're probably so sick of hearing me say this. Maybe not though, maybe you're on my side. You guys are always so nice to me, so maybe not. I would be sick of me, okay? Because I've been saying it for so long. I want to learn Spanish. I know that it's within my reach. I know that my brain works, okay? My dad always used to say to me, use your brain. Anytime I would make a silly mistake, you know, is that the nicest thing to say? No, but it worked for me because then I would remember I do have a brain in there and I am allowed to use it. So I'm gonna use it. And I'm so lucky to have a brain that can learn languages. I learned sign language quite easily. I do feel like I pick up languages pretty well. And so it's almost like I have not a gift where I could be like quadlingual, you know, or like a translator, but I do feel like I have a little bit of a gift with languages in that I remember really well and I can kind of decipher, not speak, but definitely listen and understand. So I would like to actually this year freaking do it, okay? So here's what I am going to do, okay? I know that I've made a lot of promises before, but I'm gonna get back on my Duolingo. If you guys don't follow Duolingo on TikTok, by God, they are so funny. What a hilarious account. I'm gonna get back on my Duolingo because I feel like it is a very easy thing to keep up with. I know I could stay consistent with it because it's not like a course. When I first moved to Vancouver, I started taking Spanish classes, actually in person. So sorry. I started taking Spanish classes in person and I was really like all for it. I was gonna learn Spanish and then it fell off because I started taking a lot of acting classes and then I was working on set and then I was doing the podcast. Like it kind of got hit to the wayside a little bit. But now with this Duolingo, I wanna do it 10 minutes every day before bed. If I can do more, great. If I don't do more, I only said for 10 minutes. If I had started really trying to learn Spanish when I said I was, I could probably be very conversational by now. Maybe not fluent, but like that was almost 4 years ago, you know? That's like a whole college degree situation. So I really want to focus on that. I love Spanish. It's such a beautiful language. I love being able to communicate with different people from different parts of the world. That's what I love about sign language. I'm not fluent in sign language anymore. I really used to be like, gosh, again, fluent. It's like, if it's your first language, that's completely different than something you learn, but I had no problems holding my own in a conversation in sign language. Now it's kind of the basics, which makes me a little bit sad. And I was taking sign language classes as well, which was beautiful, but not free. Trying to save money this year, okay? That's not a New Year's resolution. That's kind of just like an adult resolution. But with Duolingo, it is free, not sponsored or anything. I just think that it's a cool program. But yeah, I definitely want to focus on Spanish this year in a big way and hopefully be able to communicate in some of your guys' first language with you. I think that would be beautiful. I'm actually going to go in with the Anastasia Prism palette. This thing is like so old. So every one of these palettes are so old, but I really never used this and I was so excited for it to come out. It's very dirty. So sorry about that. But I'm going to use the shade Parallel, this kind of dark brown, and just go in right in the crease. I always regret doing this, but I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to learn from my mistakes. I'm not going to use that mirror though, that's for sure. Okay, I have to focus. I'm going to bring it down. Oh, I kind of like that. I think that looks nice. Sam, are you watching this? Do you like this? What is this face? You know what? I like it. It's the confidence, really. That's what does it. I'm going to go in on this side. Do the same thing. Okay. New Year's resolution number 3. I know we didn't spend a whole lot of time on number 2, but that's because I've been saying it for years and I'm almost embarrassed at this point that it's taken me so long. But New Year's resolution number 3, oh, I kind of messed that side up. Gosh darn it. I want to get on a schedule. And I will say I've been really good recently with being on a schedule. But here's what I gave up. I gave up trying to be a morning person. I'm just not. I have never been a morning person. I really tried when I was in my yoga course to keep up with the 5 a.m. thing. Every day for 6 weeks, I woke up at 5 a.m. I never got used to it. I was so tired all day. It was so hard for me. I felt like a shell of myself. It wasn't for me. And what I think happened to me in general is I worked as a bartender for so many years doing the closing shift. And I think that I just trained my body that my most productive hours are between 5 and midnight. And by trying to always be in bed by 8 o'clock or like 9 o'clock and be up in the morning, I was wasting my most productive hours laying in bed scrolling on my phone because I was trying to fall asleep and I just couldn't. I'm gonna buff this out because, like, good God, that side went a little funky. I don't even know how to fix that. Oh my gosh, now it's just getting muddy. This side looks nice though, right? Yeah. I'm just gonna keep going on with my Smith 230 brush and hoping that it turns out for the best. Anyway, I was wasting these most productive hours on my phone trying to fall asleep. And then I decided, who said that I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to be productive? I'm very, very lucky, but I also worked hard to be able to work for myself. And I get to decide my work hours. So who says that my productive hours have to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Why can't my productive hours be from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.? And so since I changed my thoughts around that, I've been getting so much more done. I've been able to really focus and honestly do better, like be more creative and put more time into things, and my brain is functioning better. I just don't fall asleep early. I don't know what it is. I fall asleep usually around 1 or 2 a.m. That's how it was when I was a bartender. I would come home on the early shift. I would be in bed by 1 a.m. On the late shift, sometimes 7 a.m., but more realistically about 4 a.m. And so my body kind of just got trained to be that way and to be the most active kind of, 5 to 11, and then you kind of start to die down around 12, and then you're closing 1 to 2, that sort of thing. So I've noticed now that I'm doing most of my work in the afternoon, evening, night, things are going so much better. And I've also implemented my notes app. I'm gonna pull this side in just a little bit because we kind of did it on the other side. The other side got away from us a little bit. So what I've been doing with my notes app is writing down my schedule for the week. Everything I need to get done, any ads that I have, ads for the podcast, videos I want to put up, podcasts that I want to put up, topics I want to research, kind of just everything I need to get done, including emptying the dishwasher, doing laundry, cleaning the litter box. Like I put literally everything into my notes app for each day, and I'll add to it throughout the day. And then when it's finished, there's this little function on the notes app. I'm sure everyone knows, but I just became privy to it recently. It's like this little circle that you can it shows up, and then you can press on the circle and it does a little check mark to signify that you've completed that task. And it has changed the game for me because I'm so excited to check things off. So then I just do it, and then I get to press the little circle, check that off my list sort of thing. It's really made a huge difference for me. So now I feel like my brain is less scattered because I have all of the things that I need to get done in my phone. And I usually do my weeks in advance, kind of 3 weeks in advance, because that's usually the span of time that I know how much I have to get done, kind of sponsorship wise or whatever. I'm just gonna go in with this glitter glue from Too Faced and put it right here on the inner corner and middle lid, and just go in with this Makeup Geek sparkly powder. Honestly, should I put some stuff underneath my eyes? Wonder if I should honestly tape paper towel under my eyes. Is that ridiculous? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put some setting powder down. I'm gonna do the baking situation. Please hold. Because then maybe it'll all just float away after, right? Isn't that the idea? I don't know if this is the right way to apply it for that. I never got into the whole baking thing. Let's hope that just brushes away. I think you're supposed to put it on with a beauty blender and just really pack it on there, but we already did it. Okay, going in with the glitter glue. Oh, interesting. I've used this one time. Okay. Then I'm gonna use this concealer brush and spray the Desi Do Me Over Prep, Set, and Refresh Face Mist. Oh, I always forget how dope that spray is. It's like a continuous spray, but with a pump instead of an aerosol. So cool. Okay, then I'm going to dip into my glitter. Yeah, divine. Okay, there's glitter everywhere already. Then I'm gonna put that straight onto my lid. Sorry guys, I have to focus, or else this is gonna be a disaster. And I'm gonna try to kind of get it right into that little corner. I wanted it to be right there in that corner. I don't think I got any glue there. Hold on. I'm actually gonna use this tiny little eyebrow brush and take just a little bit of this glue and then get it into that corner. And then maybe that glitter will stick. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Yeah, do you see? Kind of made a point. That's what I wanted. I don't know how that looks. Do we like that? I wish you could answer me. I'm just gonna take a brush and get rid of that glitter underneath, hopefully. I'm actually gonna spray this directly onto my eyeball. Kind of like hairspray, you know? Just really spray it down. Okay, so the Notes app has been kind of a game changer for my productivity, and I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting everything that I wanted to get done. I'm actually able to schedule days off. I think it might be fun to actually do a whole video on what it's like to work online and the different ways that you can make money, the different things that you have to do. Oftentimes there's a lot of things you're doing for free in hopes of eventually monetizing that kind of platform or whatever. But one of the big things I've noticed being, a smaller creator is oftentimes you don't have days off. There's a lot of time that you get to yourself, commute that you're not doing, and you can sleep in and just work late sort of thing. But never just those real days where you're shutting off, where you're not doing any work, you're not editing or filming or, coming up with content ideas, that kind of thing. And I noticed during my yoga course that I was actually taking true days off because I was so full time during the course. And I really liked it. It really gave me this like reset feeling. Whereas before it was kind of like every week just blended into the other because every day I was doing something for work, which is fine. And I will work as hard as I can to continue to be able to do this and do what I love, absolutely. But at some point, you kind of need a day or a couple days once in a while that are just for you and you don't feel guilty about it, because that was the other thing. If I was taking days, then I would feel really guilty, like, oh, I should be doing something, I should be working, I should be whatever. But I think it's important to have those days where it's just like, no, tomorrow is my day off and I can just be lazy if I want to. I don't need to get anything done. And using my notes app on the iPhone and realizing that I don't have to try and get up early, but just be productive at different hours has really allowed me to do that. And it's made me a lot happier, honestly. It's made me able to be present in my personal life and kind of just do things for me. So I'm really enjoying that. I don't know. I don't hate how that turned out. I mean, it's not the best, but it definitely could be worse. Definitely feel like it's New Year's Eve. I have coffee in here. It's 5 p.m., but it's 5 a.m. somewhere. Let's do the under eye situation. I'm going to go back in with the Smith 230 brush, and I think I'm just going to see how much is still left on here and go under my under eye. Okay, let's do these eyebrows. I'm going to go in with my Tartelette Tarte palette and use the shade Dreamer, which now has sparkles all over it. This pigment got everywhere, I will say that. I don't even know how I'm going to clean it up. And I'm going to use my Anastasia brow brush. It's the best brow brush that I've found. I love it. Even if you use like their brow gel or brow powder or like whatever. I'm really bad at brows, but this makes it so that it's like, I don't know, presentable. I really should get my brows kind of like tattooed on because I hate doing them so much, but it's just so expensive and I get scared of anything that's permanent. I don't have any tattoos. And I was a big piercings girl, because like at least those grow over. Love tattoos on other people. I just can't commit. Oh, I need to pluck my eyebrows. Good God. The holidays really got away from me. Okay, now at least the brows are done. Anyway, so I want to get on a schedule and I want to continue this good trajectory I have with my productivity and getting things done that need to get done. That's my plan. I'm going to kind of contour, like not really, but just a little bit with this Benefit Hoola Bronzer. This one is I can't remember because they came out with Hoola Light. So this I think is just regular Hoola. It's probably a little bit deep for my skin tone right now, but I'm just going to go in like right up here because we're going to put on a blush. It's going to be like a kind of holiday blush situation, but I kind of just wanted a little bit of warmth kind of in the temples area, just a little bit down. Okay, so my last New Year's resolution is to continue feeding my body in a way that makes it feel good. As many of you may know, I was having a lot of issues with my gut, like gut health, stomach sort of thing. A lot of things weren't making me feel good, and so I went on a really plain diet. And I don't mean diet as in like a fad diet sort of thing. I just mean I was eating very plain like meal plans. And it was really, really helpful for me. I had so much energy. I never felt sick. Oftentimes I would be like feeling like I was going to throw up after I ate before I started on this kind of plain meal plan. And by that I mean like chicken, veggies, and rice, beef, veggies, and rice, like not super salty, nothing deep fried, that kind of thing. Portions that were portioned out so I wasn't like overeating. And I don't mean that as in it like a bad way, but I would often eat everything that was on my plate that was served to me, kind of because that's how I grew up. And it would make me feel so sick. And so then I would portion out my meals so that I knew, okay, this is good. If I'm still hungry, I can eat, but let me let this settle. And usually it would be that that was the perfect amount of food for me. But I got really bored with that, and I kind of moved back into eating things that I knew weren't going to make me feel good. And they're tasty, okay? Very tasty, but I am noticing that I have a lot less energy. I'm not feeling good. You know, oftentimes I'll feel sick after I eat. So I want to start experimenting with different recipes that I can make myself that do make me feel good, because I know already that I can always revert back to my plain meal plan, but I would like to have a little bit more excitement in my food and still be able to feel the best I can feel, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna go in with this blush from MAC. It's called Ambering Rose, just on the apples of my cheeks and kind of up. And I'm gonna use it very sparingly because I remember this being very pigmented. I'm just using this Sigma Duo Fiber F50 brush. So I did make chili the other day. Loved it, made me feel good. I don't use beans in my chili usually. I did this time because my boyfriend, you know, likes beans in his chili. And I just put mine off to the side. Actually, I ended up putting them off to the side and then he put them in his bowl. So I know that now I can add chili to the list of meals that make me feel good, and they're still balanced. I sometimes find that if I'm eating just to what I like and what tastes good, I often omit a lot of veggies. Even though I like veggies, I go for things like pasta with no veggies, or like a burger with no veggies, and I know that my body feels better when I have greens. So I'm trying to, well, greens specifically, honestly, but I'm also trying to incorporate like other veggies too. So chili is good because I add carrots and celery to my chili. So that's a good one that I have. I really like making soups. I feel like I'm pretty good at making soup, honestly, as well. I'd like to get into making more soups. But overall, just finding new tasty meals that I can make at home, both cost-wise and also health-wise. It's gonna make me feel better, but that are a little bit more interesting than what I've been eating previously. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more Glow Lust in Morganite, just for extra glow. And maybe up here a little, just for fun. So I love cooking. I've always loved cooking. Not always, I guess, but since I started really experimenting, I've loved cooking. So I'm excited to get back into that, find recipes that I like. I'd love to find some more vegetarian recipes that I can cook, because many of you may know my best friend is vegetarian, and I'd love to be able to cook for both of us, but I'm so much more of the mindset when I cook that the meal needs to be around the meat, if that makes sense. That's just how I grew up again. So I'm excited to learn what vegetarian meals feel good in my body, because again, things like beans, soy, legumes in general don't make my body feel good. So trying to find things that are vegetarian that do make my body feel good is going to be fun, so that I can share some meals with Sam. I'm just going to go in with this MAC lip pencil in Ruby Woo, because I'm going to do a red lip. It's going to be a thing. Probably not going to talk during this because I never line my lips. So this is going to be interesting. I feel like I did a pretty good job for someone who never lines their lips. And then I'm gonna take this Milk Makeup Wu-Tang Clan collab. I don't know if it was a collab or if they just, I don't know what happened, but anyway. Dope packaging, beautiful red lipstick. I'm just gonna go all over. I've never used this. Oh my goodness, that's a freshie. Whoa, that's a cherry red. Then I'm just gonna take my Desi Do Me Over mist and spray my whole face. Dry that off. And then take my hair out. Did my hair hold up? I think it did. Let me zoom you out so you can see the finished product. Well, you guys, that is everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching this New Year's Eve Get Ready with me and talking about my New Year's resolutions. If you want, please feel free to leave your New Year's resolutions in the comments down below. Love reading your comments, love chatting with you guys. Also, I still have a discount code for Orate. If you're looking for some beautiful jewelry pieces, you can go to oratenewyork.com/Alyssa Anderson. Use promo code Alyssa Anderson to get 20% off of your first purchase. Totally up to you, but love those pieces. They are divine, and I still have the discount code, so I just wanted to let you guys know. Other than that, thank you so much again for watching and supporting me as always, and I hope that you have a beautiful entry into 2022 and that all of your dreams come true. That might be my new saying. All of your dreams come true in 2022. Bye, guys.